Welcome to the Two Money Guys podcast. My name is Robert Rio, the middle-aged money man, along with Michael Dinich, your money geek, and John with the beard. Today we are talking about cleaning up financially, and we are going to sit down with Brian Winch, who is the creator of Clean Lots, which he describes as an operations manual on how to start and run a parking lot litter cleaning business. It can be your ultimate side hustle, or it can be your main form of income. We're going to talk to him and get all the details about it. But first, let's roll that intro. I would like to thank our sponsor, JRC Insurance Group. JRC works with over 50 top-rated insurance companies to match their clients with the most affordable life insurance options available. They are working harder than anyone to get you the coverage you need and deserve for the price that suits your budget. Call 866-790-6494 or visit jrcinsurancegroup.com for your free, no-obligation quote. Again, call 866-790-6494 or visit jrcinsurancegroup.com for your free, no-obligation quote. All right, we would like to welcome Brian Winch to the show today. Brian is the creator and founder of Clean Lots, which is a niche service for commercial property management companies that cleans litter from their properties, parking lots, sidewalks, and landscapes. He's also the author of an e-book or e-course on that home business opportunity. We'd like to welcome him to the show today. How you doing today, Brian?
Not bad yourself, Robert.
Oh, I'm doing well. We're very happy to have you on the show with us. And reading over your story, it looks like you may have taken a side hustle. And if you can pardon the pun, you've probably heard 1,000 times you cleaned up with it.
That's right.
So you probably heard that a million times, but I mean, I've read over your story and it's amazing what you did with this, basically taking I'm going to call it a net type contraption and a broom and going around and cleaning up litter. But for our listeners who don't know anything about you, can you give them a little background on exactly what Clean Lots is and what services it provides?
Well, Clean Lots is a book that I wrote a number of years ago, and it shows people how to start and operate a parking lot litter removal business based on my experience since 1981. I started this business in 1981. Back then, it was called moonlighting, before side gigs or side hustle became the norm for terminology. But I was working a full-time job at a sporting goods store in the shipping receiving department. I was 21 years old at the time, and I enjoyed working there. I had been there a number of years, starting out part-time, and but the realization came to me one day that, do I want to do this for the rest of my life? I barely graduated high school. I didn't go to college. I didn't have a lot of money, not really any skills, marketable skills. But I thought, well, I don't want to really do this job or actually work for anyone. And I thought, it would be really cool to be able to work for myself. I'm kind of an independent person. I like to do things my way. And I thought, well, I'm kind of limited with my background. What kind of options do I have? So I was looking at a number of different things, and right away a number of things I had to rule out, like starting a bricks and mortar store or any type of business where I'm marketing a product. So I decided that I should look into various service opportunities, and I needed to obviously run the business from my home. So any type of people calling on my home was out of the question. So I would have to come to my customers or provide a service. So I decided maybe a cleaning type of business would be the way to go. And a lot of people don't like to clean up or clean up after themselves or anybody else, and so there seemed to be a market for a cleaning business of some sort. And my father, unfortunately, had passed away a year before, when I was 20. But he used to do something on the side that I remembered that I thought was pretty cool, because he took me along with him a couple times. And he basically cleaned up the litter, walking around a nearby shopping plaza early in the mornings. And when I say walking around, he walked the sidewalks, the parking lot, the surrounding landscape, the entire exterior grounds of that commercial property, and cleaned up any kind of litter that was on the ground. And he did that on a daily basis. And I thought, wow, this is easy work. All you got to do is show up, do the work, and you're finished. And, it wasn't that difficult, based on the type of tools. You use simple hand tools. So really the work was almost as easy as going for a walk and getting paid for it. So I decided that I would look more into that type of work for a business. And make a long story short, it's already kind of getting long here, but I decided that I would start contacting or approaching property management companies and ask them if they'd be interested in my service. And I was quite surprised, or maybe lucky, that one of the first prospects I had contacted indicated that they had 3 shopping plazas that they were having a really tough time finding somebody that who would reliably show up and clean up the litter, and would I be interested? And so I indicated to them, yes, I'd be interested, and submitted some prices, and was successful in getting those 3 accounts, and it all started from there.
That's awesome. I mean, to do, that basically you're spending time with your father, and that sprouts a business idea, and it's wonderful. I mean, it seems like there's some cold calling involved with this, obviously, which can be intimidating to some people. Once the clientele's built up, it seems like it just kind of snowballs from there. But what you're saying is basically this home business entails cleaning up litter, cleaning up trash, or just basically cleaning up commercial properties, strip malls, commercial properties, maybe apartment complexes and so forth, on a contract basis, correct?
Yeah. And if I could make one slight correction, I wouldn't really call it cold calling, because I wasn't phoning up anybody and trying to sell them anything. So in my book, I used the term warm calling. So basically all I'm doing is contacting the prospects and briefly introducing myself, giving them my elevator pitch. This is who I am, and this is what I can do for you, and how you can benefit from using my service. And all I'm doing is trying to obtain contact information. And once I get the contact information, they're interested, I send them more information and I follow up. So it's I get them in a sales funnel, if you will. And I just follow up, and you need to be persistent. These people are extremely busy. They're professional babysitters. They're inundated with, emails, text messages, phone calls every day from tenants, complaining, or not necessarily complaining, but there's always issues. They're always having to put out fires, these property managers. So they're busy people. So, but they're at the same time, they're always interested in finding out about a service that can save them money and give them a better service. So they're always interested to learn more. And so that's what you have to hit upon. And you send them the information, and like I say, you follow up, and it goes from there. And you provide some free estimates, and you get your foot in the door. And quite often, they want to try your service out. So they may manage 15, 20 properties, but they may start you out at one. And if they're happy with your service, not just the work that you do, but the customer service that you provide as well, they're going to phone you up and say, Brian, I've got another 2 or 3 or 4 or 6 properties, and we want prices on these developments as well.
Yeah, I like that. And I think that's key. There's the customer service. I mean, your follow up, they know that if you're coming in there like that, and you're persistent and you're following through, that there's going to be some customer service there. Now, I realize, what do you think your percentage was when you first started as far as successes with these contacts?
Oh, well, back then, like this 1981, so there weren't as many methods of making
Oh
sales
yeah, you
back
couldn't
then.
text them or
Yeah, there was no email marketing. There's nothing. There was no internet really. It was the old-fashioned yellow pages and direct mail. And the funny thing is that a lot of people think direct mail is dead, but if you think about it, how many major companies still use direct mail in their marketing? It's still successful. But basically, you just would contact these companies and I got it down to, I guess, of a science, and my success rate was pretty good. To give you an idea, this business can be pretty lucrative in terms of the contracts you get. So if I did a direct mailing, and it cost me, let's say, $500. I'd print up my own postcards, and then there's the postage. I compile my own mailing list. There are options out there where you can rent a list for one time only, but you have to be careful as to how up to date that information is, and then the person who's the contact, you don't want it going to the wrong person. So often, in my case, I found it just better to develop my own uh, prospect list, and that's how I did it, by phoning these property management companies and gathering that contact information, as I indicated earlier. So I would mail that out, and so if I just got one or two customers per mailing, it would easily pay for that cost of the mailing, because one account. Let's say if one property was $500 a month, or $1,000 a month, multiplied by 12 months in a year, that would easily pay the cost of that mailing. And then I found too if you provide that good customer service, you're going to get a lot of referral business, not just from people, your existing client base, but these people tend to move around. They communicate, they get together, they have various associations they belong to. There's BOMA, or the Building Owners Managers Association, and they're already always comparing notes. Who do you use for landscaping? Who do you use for a plumber? Who have you found that shows up and provides a reliable litter pick service? And so, you get a lot of inquiries from that way as well.
Yeah, I can believe that. Word of mouth is probably the best advertisement. Um, Now, a typical person who would get your ebook, who would purchase your ebook, how many properties do you think they could handle at a time?
Everyone is different. And when I say different, in terms of how fast you walk, I hustle. I move pretty quick when I'm working. I'm thorough. I want to make sure I do a good job, but I want to get that property done and move on to my next one. So I know from personal experience, if one person can service, and it depends on the size of these properties too. Let me backtrack a little bit. The properties we tend to do are small to medium-sized strip plazas, or office buildings, or in industrial properties. We don't do the big malls, or the big high rises, or et cetera. But most of those smaller properties you could knock off in basically the time it takes to walk them. 10, 15, 20, 30, 45 minutes, whatever. And so I found what it is possible to do 18 to 22 properties in a day, if you're hustling, and that has the potential, and I've done it myself, brings in over six-figure income, over $100,000 a year.
Wow. I mean, that's great. That's a fantastic selling point. If you can build your clientele up to that many, and get it done in a day, that is tremendous. Now, how many times would you go out? How many times would you clean these properties per month?
Well, the focus of our service is to maintain these properties litter free. So we don't go in. We're not interested in contracts to go in and clean up an accumulation of trash. And most of our customers, they understand that if they want their properties to appreciate, if they want their tenants to be happy, the neighborhood not to complain about the state of the development, that they have to maintain their properties litter free. So we tend to deal with clients like that, and it's worked out very well.
So you keep an eye on things, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I would like to thank our sponsor, JRC Insurance Group. JRC works with over 50 top-rated insurance companies to match their clients with the most affordable life insurance options available. They are working harder than anyone to get you the coverage you need and deserve for the price that suits your budget. Call 866-790-6494 or visit jrcinsurancegroup.com for your free, no-obligation quote. Again, call 866-790-6494 or visit jrcinsurancegroup.com for your free, no-obligation quote. Now I'm going to backtrack a little bit because now you started out walking these properties and you thought to yourself, this could be a great way to make some money. At what point then did it occur to you to say, I am going to write a manual on how to do this so other people can do it?
Well, like I said, I was always the type of person to think, there's, it'd be cool if I found a way to make money. I'd like to sell it because I was in those shoes myself. I was 21 and like I said before, I didn't have much going for me in terms of education, money, or pedigree or business skills. And I developed this. And after 4 years of trial and error, when I first started cleaning, I went through a number of different types of tools, different types of brooms, lobby pans, etc. And then I eventually found this one tool that made my service that much more profitable and efficient. And it really, made the cleanup work almost as simple as going for a walk. And so after I learned all of these different things, I thought, you know what, this is such an incredible opportunity for people that, like working outdoors. They don't mind a little bit of exercise. I understand this business isn't for everyone, but for people that want to make a few extra bucks, maybe just on the side, maybe that's all they're interested in doing. It's a great opportunity. At the same time, too, if they want to keep going with it and turn it into a full-time business, that opportunity is there for them as well.
Yeah, and that's what I like about it. It's scalable. You can do as little or as much as you like. When I was reading, I mean, it's one of these side hustles. I'm going to call it a side hustle that can become a full-time hustle or your main hustle, that you can scale. You can do as little or as much as you like.
Well, and on that note too, I did take it one step further as well. I mean, I started it as a side gig, and then I turned it into a full-time one-man operation. But at some point, we decided to let's see how big we could build this business. And my brothers became involved in the business, and we picked up more contracts, and word of mouth spread, and we got bigger and bigger. So at one point we needed to decide, what are we going to do with the request for weekend service? None of us want to work weekends. It's very easy to find people that are looking for a simple way to make money part-time, whether it's on the weekends or maybe an hour or 2 or 3 in the early mornings before they go to work. And we had no difficulty finding reliable, trustworthy people to do a few buildings for us. And so we eventually built the business up to around 150 properties, or we have 150 accounts at any given time. Win or lose some, because it is contract business, and properties are always sold and management changes, etc. And so, but we were billing out around $650,000 a year in litter pick work. Nothing else. We're not into landscaping or snow removal or janitorial work. We just focus and specialize in this niche service and try to do it better than anybody else.
Wow. I mean, those are some staggering numbers when you think about it. Is this something that you still do?
Oh, yeah.
Or so, I mean, is this still your main hustle, or has it become a side hustle from the ebook?
Well, the ebook is my new side hustle, if you will. But I've been doing this for over 30 years, since 1981, and so the main hustle or the main business is the actual contract cleaning. So, for some people that think, oh, well, this guy, he did it for a couple of years and now he's not in the business and he's making his money telling people how to do it. No, actually, this is that the clean lots is on the side, and I'm happy to share my experience and help people, be as successful. And obviously there's always the possibility they could be even more successful than I, especially if they have that business background or, maybe the abilities to maybe scale it a bit bigger in bigger cities. That's possible. So, it's something that I'm happy to do, and I've got both going. But I have scaled back some of my hours in the cleaning business. I'm getting older. I'm going to be 59 in another month or two, but I don't really see myself getting out of that entirely because it is easy work. I enjoy getting up, going out, doing this, coming home, and now spending a little bit of time helping other people across the country get this business established in their areas, so it's the best of both worlds right now.
Yeah, and speaking of your passion for helping people start this business, let's basically, I want to hear you not give your elevator pitch, but give our listeners the reason why they should go to cleanlots.com and get this ebook. If they're looking for a side hustle, and I'm telling you that you're probably not going to find an easier or less expensive side hustle than this. You're going to spend less in gas delivering pizzas than you're going to pay for this ebook. Tell our listeners why they should come to your site and get this ebook and start this side hustle.
Well, it is a legitimate opportunity. And I'm, here as an example, and I'm here to provide free support. Not many other business opportunities, can make that claim or offer. And I know I can do that because I know it works. I have a saying: if you work the business will work for you. But you have to do more than just buy the book. Like I say, you have to actually put what's in the book into practice and stick with it. I would say two of the qualities that have been really successful for me that I have is the self-motivation and my work ethic. And if a person out there is anxious to work for themselves, or have something on the side that, maybe they get away from the office and they just want to do something completely different from what they do 9 to 5. And that's go for a walk, each early morning and get some exercise. This is something that you should consider.
Yeah, I like that. And, speaking with you before the interview, you can just sense your passion about this, about wanting to help people, because that was one of the first things that we discussed, is how you do provide support, and you are there for the people who want to do this. You're going to be there for them, and you're going to answer their questions, and you're going to take care of any issues that they may have or questions that they may have. So, I can just tell that you're passionate about this and you want people to succeed. And, it's not just a, hey, buy my ebook and give me some money. It's a, hey, I succeeded at this. I'm an example of what you can do if you put in the hard work. Come join me in doing this. And, it seems like a pretty great thing.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, I give credit where credit's due. And that's, it's definitely there. As an actual entrepreneur, from the entrepreneur side, what advice do you have for, say, any up and coming entrepreneurs listening to this show, aside from the actual specific business? Do you have any advice for anybody who may just have an idea but is afraid to go for it?
Well, the great thing about starting something as a side hustle is you can take your time. You can build it slowly and build prototypes. You don't have to go full in. You don't have to go out and quit your job and whatever. Start, sign a huge lease for a manufacturing plant or anything. You can start small and build it from there. But I would encourage anyone, to look at what you're good at or what you would like to do, as opposed to just following the dollar signs. And, unfortunately, a lot of people think, they get ahead of themselves and they said, well, I want to make $1 million, but wealth is a byproduct. It's not the product itself.
I like that. They do sometimes put the cart in front of the horse, and they look at the money, but they don't always see what's involved. But yeah, you're right. Wealth is a byproduct. You have to put in the work, and I think it's important when you're an entrepreneur to find something you enjoy, because you're not going to want to put in the work if it's not something you enjoy. Yeah.
That's right. And that's pretty obvious, but I think a lot of people, they miss that when they're starting. They're looking at the bucks first, and then they get involved into something in something that they're not really interested in, and they've wasted a lot of time and
they
money.
Stopped doing it, and it was just a waste of time. I have a fun question for you, and you may not have an answer for it, but I do have a fun question for you, because I just picture this in my mind with your business. Have you ever heard of anybody who bought your book, or have you ever had, anybody else doing this same gig and get into kind of a turf war over, where they're cleaning?
No, actually, honestly, no. It's, I've been doing this since 1981, and there's been no issues there. At one point I was looking into franchising this whole concept, but it's too simple. Most of your customers in any given city in the country, across the country, are property management companies, and most of them are a mom and pop type of operations. They're not the big, franchise. The big cities will have the Caldwell Banker and the CB Richard Ellis and the Colliers Internationals, etc. But that's maybe 3 or 4 of them. But out of a big city, there could be 60 or 70 property management companies, and they're locally owned. They may manage 5, 10, 15, 20 properties. And, because they're not located all across the country, they don't know, they don't care, who's operating in these other cities. Their focus is finding, the local service contractor that can service their needs, at a good price and provide a reliable service. And, the concept is so simple that really, if someone bought a franchise from me, they're going to say, it's so simple. We don't need this. Why are we paying this guy royalties? In terms of advertising and et cetera, things like that. It just didn't work. It just didn't work out. So that's one of the reasons why I decided to write the book and make a few extra bucks on the side and help people across the country that wanted to start a business similar to mine. And, I've never had problems where people are saying, hey, I bought your book and there's somebody else here that, is doing something similar, because, there's so much business out there. There's so many cities out there that need a service like this, and chances of running into somebody else is pretty slim to none. And besides, you know what? There's plenty of competition now, or right now, in any given industry. Whether if you're in lawn care, or you're a plumber or electrician, you just do a Google search as to how many plumbers or electricians or any type of service provider in your city, and you can see there's tons of competition there. But in my field, we provide a niche service, and it's I would say there's more of an opportunity. It's more unheard of. Yes, there might be a little bit more of education. You have to educate your market or your client base, but once you point out to them and show them how they can get better service for less money, more frequent service, etc., and then they experience the customer service that that we provide, or I tell people how to do that. It's not as much competition.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. Well, I tell you what, I loved having you here on the show today. I mean, we learned a lot about you. We learned a lot about how the business came about. Is there anything else about the ebook that you can share without giving too much away?
Well, I will tell you, besides the ebook, there is the option of ordering the hard copy as well. And there's always a few people that like to have the hard copy. You do have to wait a bit longer because it is shipped out by FedEx. But, the ebook is an instant download. Everything is there. All the, information, my contact information for the free support that I provide. But yeah, it's simple and easy.
All right. And you also have a blog on your site.
Yeah, I do. I tend not to do as much blogging as I really should. I like to get out, do my job. I like to have these guest appearances on podcasts. As I'm not that good a writer, if you will, to churn out all of these blog posts, etc. So, but I do like to share some information periodically, for my followers or people to learn something that maybe is worthwhile.
Well, that's great. We are going to share all your links in the show notes. Again, the website is cleanlots.com. You can go over there. You can get all the information. You can purchase the ebook or the hard copy or the hardcover book, the hard copy book. And I believe there's also a business template kit.
Yeah, it's downloadable. All the forms that come with the book, you can if you get the business template kit for $19.95, I believe it is. Then you are able to insert your contact information, create a logo, and just create these forms, as you need them. Whereas the forms that are in the book, whether it be the ebook or the hard copy, they're examples, and then you would actually have to create forms from those examples. So it's just making it that much simpler, but it's not necessary. You can get started just for the price of the book, and then go from there.
Yeah. Well, I love that when people make things easy. You basically, it's, I'm not going to say turnkey because it's not a franchise, but you provide all the tools that you could possibly need for somebody to start this business. And that's what we love here is, things made a little easier from the get-go and a little, very easy to understand. So you can head over to cleanlots.com. You can actually check out some sample pages from the book. You can download it. You can order the hard copy. It is inexpensive. I mean, really, for a home business opportunity ebook, it is not expensive at all. So definitely go check that out. We're going to have all the links in the show notes. And we appreciate you coming by, Brian.
Well, I appreciate being a guest here, Robert. And I appreciate all the plugs.
It is our privilege. I would like to thank our sponsor, JRC Insurance Group. JRC works with over 50 top-rated insurance companies to match their clients with the most affordable life insurance options available. They are working harder than anyone to get you the coverage you need and deserve for the price that suits your budget. Call 866-790-6494 or visit jrcinsurancegroup.com for your free, no-obligation quote. Again, call 866-790-6494 or visit jrcinsurancegroup.com for your free, no-obligation quote.